What's up, everyone? Welcome back to more Ace Attorney Investigations. Miles Edgeworth. Last time we left off, we did middle part 1 and of chapter 3. And you want to know how I know I'm obsessed with this game? The fact that I'm playing this at 12 a.m. because I can't stop playing, guys. It's just so good. All right. Looks like we got the boot again. For the land's sake, the focus of the investigation will shift solely onto the murder. You mean the infighting between the kidnappers? Yes, and also the identity of the remaining kidnapper. Miles, my boy! Tell me it's true. Tell me that you really found my boy. Yes, Mr. Romano, we found him earlier in the stadium. Then my little Lance is unhurt? He's not exactly the picture of perfect health, but his life is not in danger. He's being questioned right now by Agent Lang. Poor Lance. Must have been so horrible for him. Locked up like a... Miles, my boy, I can't thank you enough. It was nothing. I'm still in shock over what happened to Oliver. But I have to say I'm relieved that Lance is alright. Oh, that's right. I mustn't forget to pass this on to Lance as soon as the police are finished with him. A letter? Ah, the way Lance is being chased after by women reminds me of someone I know. I almost can't believe we received yet another love letter, you know? Here, take a look for yourself. This is a breach of confidentiality. Your beloved... Viola? Oh no. Does it have to be Cadaverini? It's a very simple love letter. Oh hey, let me see. That's really weird. It's from a loan company. No! No! Oh no! It is Viola Cadaverini. What? I didn't think they would come back out of anybody. Well, I guess it's just her because Furio got arrested. Looks more like a collection bill to me. Huh. Viola, did you kill another person? Can I talk to her separately, or are they the... Yep, okay. He loves me not. He loves me not. Oh, it's the 12th one. No, you can't give up, Lauren. Just one more try. Excuse me, but I can't help but feel a bit sorry for all the flowers you've gone through. Suppose if they were me, then... I believe you said that you were Lance's girlfriend when you first met, correct? Yes, I am, but... Oh, it's not like we both think of each other as lovers. But he did give me this ring, so I guess we're not just friends either. I mean, because this isn't just any ordinary ring. It's a ring pop. It tastes so sweet when you lick it. Ah, it's so wonderful. You mean to tell me that he gave you a lollipop ring? So which is it? Have you guys not decided if you're going out, or is it just one-sided? Decided? Shouldn't the parties involved naturally just know? My father used to work for Mr. Romano, and so Lance and I grew up together. I said it out loud. I don't see how that's anything to be embarrassed about. So your father was an employee of the Amano Group. What did he do? I heard his job was to fly around the world, on Pegasus. Pegasus? Oh, Pegasus is the name of the airplane. The airplane belonged to the company. You had me there for a second. But now, it's all changed. My father, he isn't around anymore. Oh, I see. About 10 years ago, he rode Pegasus off to somewhere and never returned. Riding Pegasus to whereabouts unknown. Sounds like the stuff legends are made of. It's been so long, but I don't think I'd recognize him if we ever were to meet again. I'm so sorry, Lauren. But I won't give in to the sadness. I have to live. Yes, Lauren, live! Well, that's definitely a Chekhov's gun moment. I think he'll come into play later on. So from what I'm seeing, this case is actually turning out to be very important. And I looked it up. There are 5 chapters in this game. So I'm betting this game doesn't have the Chapter 3 syndrome in Chapter 3. They probably have it in Chapter 4, don't they? Because this... While this isn't my favorite case yet, there is a lot of stuff being introduced that you obviously need. The whole Chapter 3 problem is that it never introduces anything that you need to know, which is true for pretty much every game. Seal Samurai case everybody hates except for me for some reason. Very Big Circus everybody hates except for me. The only sort of exception was Gatto's case, where you saw that he couldn't see red, and that was kind of a big deal, but you didn't need that necessarily. You could have gone to the next trial and figured it out from there with the blood, but Obviously, spoilers for the game. I don't know why you're watching the 5th game in the series if you haven't seen the other ones, but actually, I'm not gonna even play that card because I'm pretty sure I watched something recently, or not recently, but like I don't know, a year ago or something. I don't know. That where I was like, huh, I probably should have watched the other games first, but this is cool enough. And then Polo Justice. Yeah, that's another kind of loophole one, because the case itself didn't matter at all in the long run, but Lammeror mattered a whole lot, so it's a bit of a 50-50. How about this incident? Incident? But isn't the kidnapping already over and dealt with? I've been here the whole time, so I'm afraid I don't know much about any other incident. How did you come to know that Lance had been kidnapped? Oh, that's because of my woman's intuition. You based everything on that. I know everything when it comes to my Lance. It's really strange. It really must be destiny. She started fantasizing again. Why do I have the feeling she might be a kidnapper? So what are you gonna do now, Mr. Edgeworth? We already established that there's a good chance that the killer is the other kidnapper. It's my duty to figure out who this other person is. I believe there is one location that might hold a clue or two. I don't even know what the isolation room is, so I'm gonna go here. The obvious location is the kidnapper's hideout. We're still not allowed in, remember? Delaying these men should be done with this area. In that case, there is no harm in asking that officer over there to let us in. Do you want to let us in, friend? What do you have to report? Sir! Nothing unusual or out of the ordinary, sir. I've never heard such redundancy before. Is it possible for you to let us take a look around inside? Sir! Roger, sir! That was surprisingly hassle-free. Are you certain? Didn't Agent Lang order you not to allow me in? Sir, that's true, sir, but Detective Gumshoe asked me personally to let you in, sir. And I couldn't refuse a request from him. Wow, looks like Detective Gumshoe has a following. Furthermore, I was asked to give this document to you, sir. What is this? This man in that picture. Isn't this Mr. Oliver Deacon? What? But the name here says Colin Deveray. It's the same name as the one on the back of the pendant. It appears that Colin Deveray was his real name. What's this? He was convicted in a case 10 years ago and sent to prison. What? And what was he doing here? Oh. This is her father. I see. That makes sense. What's her last name, actually? Where is she? Pops. Didn't she say her father disappeared 10 years ago? I don't know. Apparently he broke out of jail and then just vanished. Must have become Oliver Deacon to cover up the fact that he was an escaped felon. I'm not sure what's going on anymore. Is there some sort of link between the victim's past and this current case? These police documents are rather detailed. I should take the time to give them a thorough read eventually. It's fine. Let's focus on one thing at a time, starting with the kidnapper's hideout. Yeah, I agree. We should investigate first, think later. More than thinking things through, I think you should try remembering things first. Now then, if you could please unlock the door, officer. It was locked until a little while ago, but since then the door's been wide open, sir. I'm not sure I follow what it is you're saying. Can you explain in a bit more detail? Sir, the door was locked down tight when they went to check out the room. So they got about 10 officers to help them break the door down, sir. I see. I guess that means I get Agent Lang's leftovers. Well then, let's see what we find. March 13th, 2:55 p.m. Kidnapper's hideout. So this is where the kidnapper planned the foul deed. Well, you were tied up for a while in the room next door. Let's check this real quick. Whereabouts unknown after his escape from Penny detention prison. Stole a gun from a guard during his escape. We thought he might head for where his wife and sole daughter are, but despite our surveillance, he's yet to show up. Yep, so this is definitely her father. Chekhov's gun is not what I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be Act 5, and we'd finally figure him out. Were you tied up? Yeah, that's it. Okay, please, must you bring that up again? Now then, down to business. There might still be some clues left in this room. Let's try to find out what we can of the other kidnapper's identity. Sorry, I had a stutter there. Watch out, Mr. Edgeworth! It's a broken mirror. Probably came from the haunted house. Why is this here? They plan to repair it. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. The fact that there's only one key there. I wonder what this key is to... you got me. Reminds me of the key we found in the other room. That's it! This must be the key for one of those trap doors. That wasn't a trapdoor. You only call it one because you quite literally jumped into it. Hey, but isn't that what you're supposed to do when you see one? I'm not having this conversation with you. Oh, okay, I'm just not even gonna talk about it. Cheap styrofoam cups. Looks like only 3 cups were used. Folding chairs, and by the looks of it, they were probably used by the kidnappers. There are 3 chairs that are on the table. Can I make the obvious connection and be like, there were 3 people? Be like, wait a minute. Oh my god, it all makes sense! The common denominator between the cups and the folding chairs is the number 3, speaking of which. The number of missing costumes is also 3. Wait, but I thought there were only 2 kidnappers. Indeed, something isn't adding up, literally. Is it possible there was a 3rd kidnapper that Lance didn't see? What have we here? Looks like a sword, a broken sword. Strange, why would it be broken like that? Swords don't usually break on their own. That's true. Alright then, let's think about it in this way. Maybe it broke when someone was trying to use it for or on something. Hypotheticals aren't going to get us anywhere. Perhaps we should think more on this later. The door is thoroughly broken thanks to the police who forced it open. Mercifully inspected every suspicious looking cranny. And doorknob handle thingy is looking pretty beat up. Suppose that's what happens when 10 officers break their way in with brute force. Yeah, that's odd. The lock on this is completely fine. Look, not a single dent. But how is that possible after what the officer told us? Yeah, if the lock had been in use when the door was busted down, then the lock itself should be completely wrecked. So the lock on the door leading to the outside is undamaged. How can that be? I think we just got our answer to the sword right there. Broken password, boom. It's a bit strange that the police had to force their way into an unlocked room. One look at the pristine door lock and anyone can see that it was not in use at the time. But the policeman outside said it took 10 men to get it open. A door that was locked tight despite it not being locked at all. It can only be because of this. Oh, you mean, yes, it was used to jam the door. Here, take a look at the door handle. Do you see how the handle is completely destroyed? So that's how the sword broke. Okay. I thought that we might uncover the true identity of the kidnappers, but instead we've only uncovered more questions that need to be answered. Whoa, that's creepy as heck. God, that thing is so scary. Ah! What is it? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, am I correct? What are you doing suddenly popping out of the secret entrance like that? This is an underground passage used by staff members, sir. We Badgers also make use of it in our duties. Look, why don't you get out of there first and then we'll talk, okay? Oh, I beg your pardon, miss. Proto-Badger, get! Alright, only 1 more to go. What are you getting all excited about? Did you forget? The photo rally, duh! See? Look, now all I have to do is get a picture of the bad Badger and I'm done! Yes, I vaguely recall a contest or something of that sort. What? It's gone! But where did it go? What happened? What's wrong? The bad Badger costume is missing, sir! Oh, is that all? Well, it's missing because a kidnapper stole it. I heard about how they were stolen, but they said that only 3 of the costumes had been taken. What? He's saying that more than 3 of them are gone? Mr. Proto-Badger, please tell me a little more about these costumes you use. What do you mean by a bad Badger costume is missing? Why, just what I said, sir! We're only 1 bad Badger short. And in the spares, we have 2 of each costume on hand at all times. Okay, so because one of them is walking around in the park. And the other should be in that room. Actually, both of them should be in that room. Huh? What do you mean? Normally we don't use the bad Badger costumes. In fact, we only use them during a certain event at a set time each day. It's a stage show where the bad Badger wreaks havoc around the park. And the other Badgers must work together to apprehend him, sir. I'm speechless that such a show exists. Also, I was just trying to explain to you the only time we use that costume. Then doesn't that make it near impossible to take a picture of the bad Badger? Personally, I can't believe that it's this close to showtime and there's no costume. Oh dear, what am I to do, sir? All this basically means is that the kidnappers stole 4 costumes in total. Are you saying that there are 4 kidnappers? No, I don't think that's very likely. Oh, recall the costumes for a minute. The stolen ones, you mean? What proves that a fourth kidnapper does not exist? The fact that there's another costume in there, maybe? Like, why wouldn't you use that one?
Take that.
If you had 4 people and you would want to steal a 4th costume, wouldn't you naturally go for the full set and steal a pink badger costume instead? Yeah, that makes sense. And yet the kidnappers decide to steal another bad badger. I believe the culprits needed 2 bad badger costumes, but the question is why? It's supposed to be where they dispose of old and worn out costumes. That's so sad. It seems that they throw the costumes away in pieces. Oh, then the head makes a lot more sense now. Well, I think we found it. Boom! The second bad badger costume. I believe it may be closer at hand than we think. What do you mean? That costume in the trash. Wouldn't you say that it's wearing some very telltale pants? Hey, you're right. Let's get it out of there and take a look. Ah, as I suspected, it's a bad badger costume. Well, minus the head. What Wrestling Club expected every suspicious looking nook and cranny. Oh, the gun. Of course. Because the whole point is that he holds a gun, right? That's his thing. I believe what we have here is an inconsistency. Between what? Look carefully. Our costume is not holding something in its right hand that it should be. Oh, the gun! Precisely. The bad badger was designed to always hold a gun in his right hand. However, you there, did you remove the gun from this bad badger's right hand? No, I didn't, sir. The gun is supposed to be securely attached to the costume. As I thought, the rib itself confirms my hypothesis that the gun was forcibly removed. Mr. Proto-Badger, the gun is of course not a functioning weapon, correct? Absolutely not, sir. It's just a model gun. However, it can fire blanks. We need to use them for stage shows. It seems that our kidnappers also had a need for the model gun, my dear costume friend. Investigation complete. I think we're about done with this room. So what's next? Well, we found a few answers, but there are still a few things left that we have to ask a certain person about. Let's go, Kay. Don't you dare. Okay, cool. I was about to say, if you end it there, I'm gonna be mad. 20-minute video. Mr. Edgeworth, sir. You've gotta hurry, sir. Come on. What is it, detective? They found a blue badger costume down in front of the main gate, sir. What? Isn't that what one of the kidnappers was wearing? Bingo. That's why you gotta come to the main gate with me right now. If we hurry, we still might be able to get there before the wolf boy does, sir. Alright, let's make haste to the main gate. Ah, they are ending it there. Wow. Well, I'm gonna end this episode here for now, guys. No, I'm not. It's a 20-minute video, so we're going to, I'm gonna keep playing, Judge. What show is that? It's Wheel of Fortune? Are you gonna play or pass? I'm gonna keep playing, Steve. 3:45. Well, that definitely didn't take me as long as it did in game, apparently. Where's the costume, Detective Gumshoe? Just on the other side of the fountain, sir. Was it out here in the open all along? No. No, it was discovered in the tall grass back there. We moved it out here in order to examine it more thoroughly. Let's get down to it. Horrors and Blood inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. I think it's just this. What do we have here? Oh, it's another pendant. There's 2 treasures in one day. How lucky is that? And hey, this pretty baby's made of platinum silver too. Another pendant on top of the one we found on Mr. Deacon. Is it possible that these two... Hold it right there. Yep. Hold it right there. Hands up, Mr. Prosecutor. You sure know how to cross the line, don't you? Ah! A pendant, huh? This is a very decisive piece of evidence. How can you tell? Look here and read off what you see. Lauren? Lauren? Hey! There's a name that's engraved on this. Yeah, I knew it. Her last name was actually Deacon, wasn't it? Or not Deacon. What was his actual last name? Oh, no, it was Deveray. Sorry. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Oh! I just realized his name, it's an anagram, isn't it? Colin Deveray is an anagram of Oliver Deacon, isn't it? Ah, very clever game. Very clever. Right? Wait, hold on. Let me. Oh. Wait, hold on. Okay. OLIVERDEACON. Yep. Hi. Ha! We have you now, Miss Kidnapper. No, you don't understand. Wally, I can't believe you were one of my kidnappers. Lance. You're kidding. Miss Pops was one of the kidnappers? Yes. It was me. I held Lance hostage. So Miss Pops is one of the kidnappers. But even knowing that, I can't call this case solved or over. Hey, guys, case closed. Get the car ready. I mean the special one for this young lady. Again, Mr. Prosecutor? What is it this time? Are you proposing that Miss Pops is also the culprit in the murder case? What happened? I thought Officer Meekins was your suspect. We found it. Found what? That officer's gun. He literally dropped it in the middle of a thick patch of grass. The country's police are a sham. Just look at how careless they are. Who are you calling a sham? The officer's gun didn't show signs of having been fired, so it can't be the murder weapon. So Officer Meekins has been cleared of all charges, I see. And that's when a brand new suspect comes walking onto the scene. The murder only happened because the kidnappers started fighting amongst themselves. As I recall, it was you who said that, right, Mr. Prosecutor? Miss Pops, did you really kill Mr. Deacon? Yes, I killed him. I can't believe it! Thanks for the confession. Agent Lang, it's too much early to decide this case closed. Look at you, so sure of yourself. You got the culprit's own confession and some very incriminating evidence. What more could you ask for? Miss Lauren Pops. Yes? I want to hear it from you. Tell me your side of all that has happened today, from the kidnapping to the murder. But why? I'm a kidnapper and the killer. Isn't that enough? It's fine if you're the one behind everything, but only if that is the truth. Now then, will you tell us the truth? Or is there some reason why you can't? I've had a change of heart. I think I enjoy seeing you sulk away as the losing mutt. Alright, you heard me. Let's hear about the evil deeds you committed today. I have a feeling she is a kidnapper, but she's not the murderer. That's what I'm thinking. The one who came up with the kidnapping plan was the butler, Mr. Deacon. We knew that we could get rich by holding Lance hostage. Mr. Romano would pay anything to get his son back after all. Everything was going according to plan, but as soon as we got the money, Mr. Deacon turned on me and tried to kill me. There, are you satisfied? She has confessed to her crimes a second time. At least you have the guts to admit what you've done. I can at least respect that much. Miss Pops, is that what you said? Is what you said really the truth? Yes, it is. That's the truth. It certainly isn't the whole truth, because there is something that seems a bit too improbable in her confession. You want to tell me what that is? I don't think that's true. Why do you think he did? I have no idea, but maybe he had planned on doing so from the very beginning. Miss Pops. Wait, Mr. Deacon planned to kill Miss Pops from the very beginning. Was that ever really likely to happen? What should I do? Should I raise an objection? I'm sorry, but I don't think what you just claimed is all that likely. Huh? I don't think Mr. Deacon would have ever been capable of killing you. But why? We were total strangers. It's not uncommon for people to kill each other over money. Excuse me. Miss Pops, you really are clueless, aren't you? What do you mean? You never knew what your role in the kidnapping was, nor do you know who you really are. But I do, and I can show you with this piece of evidence. This proves that Mr. Deacon wouldn't have been able to bring himself to kill Miss Pops. The pendant. The horse pendant? Oh, I see. The horse with the wings makes Pegasus. Why are you showing this to me? So what about the pendant? This horse pendant, along with this piece of evidence, shows who you really are. And then the wings. These two pendants resemble each other, wouldn't you agree? Hey, you're right. They're the same color and they're even made of the same material. I believe these two pendants are actually one. Huh? Shall we give it a try? Wow, it's totally Pegasus. But why? Why does my pendant match up with Mr. Deacon's? You're a smart lady. I'm sure you can imagine why that might be. No, that can't be. The two make a set. Just another trinket. It's not as though this changes anything. You lack imagination, Agent Lang? Very well, I'll show you with this evidence. This is the piece of evidence that gives meaning to the Pegasus pendant. This. Oliver Deacon was just an alias for this man. His real name was Colin Devereux, the name that is etched on the horse pendant. What? An alias? Suppose he had to hide the fact that he was a felon somehow in order to live. And it makes sense given what is written in Miss Devereux's dossier. But what I really want to point out was this. The specific section is what reveals the true meaning behind those pendants. Stole a gun. Miss Devereux had one daughter, and her name is Lauren Pops. It's a lie. That person was not my father. He couldn't come out and tell you he was your father because he was in hiding. However, I believe he was trying to secretly watch over you. Do you still believe that a man like that could kill the daughter he was separated from? Or even that such a man would allow his daughter to get involved in a kidnapping plot? And what is so funny, Agent Lang? You're good at making things up in your head and deciding it's the truth, aren't you? What are you trying to say? Your thinking is much too innocent. After all, I've thought of another possibility. Is that so? Well, let's hear it. Another possibility. I'll grant you that the two of them are father and daughter. But isn't it possible that they both knew the fact? It was no coincidence that the reunited pair became involved in the House of Amano. And the two of them made good use of their meetings to plan this little kidnapping. Wouldn't you say my scenario is perfectly probable as well? So this is his version of how things might have been. You don't have any proof that either one didn't know of their true relationship, right? You mean they knowingly committed the kidnapping as father and daughter? That's right, as one really rotten family. Is that really what happened? I had better take a long, hard look at the evidence. I don't really know what could it be? Oh, okay, here we go. So we're gonna say like, but they were in costume. This kidnapping wasn't planned by just two people alone. Oh, never mind. What kind of proof do you have of that? Quite simply, there were 3 kidnappers. 3? The wife was in on it too. No. 4 costumes were stolen from the Wild Wild West area's back room. We found one of them in the kidnapper's hideout, but as for the other 3, we can assume they were being worn by 3 different people. We also found a set of 3 cups and 3 folding chairs that were used in the hideout. It all clearly points to a 3-man group, and I believe this third person is the real mastermind behind the kidnapping. Who is this mastermind? I present to you the brains behind the kidnapping. I'm gonna say it's, Lance? Yep. Got it. Lance Amano? Yes, this abduction was in fact schemed up by Lance himself. He got the money because he needed to pay tender lender. Got it. Recall what he said when he appeared before us. See the face of your kidnappers? No, I didn't see their faces, but 2. One was a woman. However, there were 3 kidnappers, which is in direct contradiction to what he said. But I know I only saw 2 people. This guy was being held hostage. It's possible he couldn't see all 3 of them. Ah, yes, but when you were being held, I have my doubts about what happened then. Lance, would you mind telling us what happened while you were being held captive? I really don't remember much anymore, honest. But if I don't tell you at least something, you won't believe me at all, will you? It all depends on you, Lance. I was kidnapped yesterday morning. They had me shut in that room, blindfolded the entire time. The kidnapper suddenly disappeared around the time I heard rain falling outside. My hands were cuffed, but it was a stroke of luck that they left me alone. I made my escape and ran away from that room as fast as I could. Through the underground passageway, I presume. Are you okay? Sorry, I really didn't want to recall that horrible ordeal, but now you believe me, right? No, not quite yet. How can you not? Why do you look at me with icy daggers in your eyes? He's the prosecutor, and they're all like that. I'll have you know, Agent Lang, prosecutors' eyes are for discerning the truth. And should they be interpreted to be cruel at times, then so be it. There's a sticking point in Lance's testimony. Let's see what he offers up when I push a little. If you were blindfolded, how did you see them? How'd you manage to escape? I wanted to just get out of there, but the door leading outside was locked, which is why I had to use the underground passageway to make my escape. I remember our escape to be equally as hard. This is an invaluable piece of testimony. I mustn't let it go unexamined. The door leading outside was locked tight, so I had to use the underground passageway. There we go. You say the door leading out was locked, but was it really? We're talking about that room behind the saloon front, right? Look, I heard that it took quite a few men to get that thing open. Right, Sheena? Yes, that's correct. Then take a look at this. What is that? A sword? It's not an especially reliable one if it's broken like that. Let me start from the end. My conclusion is that the door was never locked. It was simply held shut by this sword, which was used to jam the handle. Lance, even though your hands were cuffed together, you could still use them. If that's the case, then why'd you not just simply remove the sword and escape? Why didn't I? I was disoriented. Yes, that's it, I didn't notice it. As if I should accept such a bold-faced lie. You locked yourself in that room because you had to make yourself look like the victim. But you did not, in fact, possess the key to the door. That is why you used the prop sword to improvise and create a prison of your very own. You've been making this guy out to be one of the kidnappers for some time now. I wonder if you've forgotten something very important along the way. And what would that be? A motive. What else? Do you honestly think that an uptight pure boy like him would hatch up a completely pointless scheme to just kidnapping himself? I have proof right here, you silly boy. This proves that Lance did indeed have a motive to commit this crime. He was horribly in debt to Tender Lender. To put it simply, Lance has a very urgent need for money. This is hardly your typical love letter. It is in fact a collections bill. It appears our upstanding boy has accumulated quite a debt. Isn't that right, Lance? Ugh. Looks like it's hard being the son of a rich man, too. Must be rough when you have to resort to stealing from your own old man, huh? Alright, I give up. I abducted myself. Lance! It's over, Lolly. In this life, we really are bound to our fates after all. All I wanted was to go with you to a new town, somewhere where no one would know us. I wanted us to be well off that $1 million, but now that dream is over. Oh, Lance. Then, you're giving yourself up? Yes, I had planned to run away from this world with my Lolly. Oliver even helped us with this plan, but then he had to go and stab us on the back. He turned on you. Maybe he didn't want to split the ransom money, that's my guess. Happened almost right after you made the drop-off. When we were alone, he attacked me all of a sudden. After a brief struggle, I was able to contain him and keep him under control. I left him inside that room as Lolly and I made our escape. We wore different costumes and split up. Lolly left first in the Blue Badger costume. I mean, the person Officer Meekin saw was Miss Pops. But right then, the old man just had to wake up. He was careless and he tackled me pretty hard from behind. Then Oliver put on a Bad Badger costume, took the suitcase with $1 million and ran. Contacted Lolly right away and warned her that he had a gun. They had no idea that they were related, so I thought it could only end badly. I still don't believe it. That person was not my father. Because if he was, I just killed my own father. Lolly, then it really was you? That man was not my father. I mean, because at the stadium, there was a Bad Badger pulling the suitcase with the $1 million in it. But that badger pointed his gun at me, aiming to shoot me dead. That's why I used the gun I got from Lance. There was a gunshot, the other person crumpled to the ground, and I ran, scared for my life. I think the big picture is finally coming into focus, don't you? Lolly, forgive me. I didn't think it would turn into something so frightening. If only I could have protected you. So, Miss Pops, she shot her own dad without even knowing who he really was. What she says is true. You think she's lying? But why would she lie about something like that? What purpose would it serve? You'd be surprised how often people lie without even realizing it themselves, Kay. Huh? What's that supposed to mean? What I mean is listen very carefully to a confession once more and you'll see. I'm gonna say that Lance didn't give her a gun, because that doesn't make sense. Were you able to clearly see the gun? Yes, I got a very good look at it while it was pointed at me. Oh, Father, why would you try to shoot me? You really think a father would shoot his own daughter, Mr. Edgeworth? I don't know. I don't want to believe it myself. But it's true, my father's left arm was raised with a gun in it. Pointing straight at me. I'm about to die, I thought. Miss Pops! Please calm down and take a deep breath. And then, would you allow me to please hear that last statement one more time? Yes, of course. That badger pointed the gun in his left hand at me, aiming to shoot me dead. Oh, because he's right-handed. Duh. My bad. I have here a dossier on your father. Then according to this, your father was right-handed. Then the person pointing a gun at you from atop the stage was not Mr. Deacon. Hold on there, Mr. Prosecutor. I think you need to take a refresher course. The Bad Badger has a model gun attached to his right hand, which is why the only hand he could have held the real gun in was with his left. Isn't it possible that it went down like that? Agent Lang, were you paying attention to what Miss Pops was saying? And again, I suppose I can't expect someone who has never set foot in court to catch it. Enough with the smugness, out with it already. Miss Pops told us earlier. There's a Bad Badger pulling the suitcase with $1 million in it. According to you, the Bad Badger had the gun in his left hand, which would mean that he was pulling the suitcase with his right hand. Is that correct, Miss Pops? Yes, exactly. And I'm sure it was the Bad Badger. It had those huge sunglasses on its face. If that's the case, even I can see there's a huge contradiction. Yes, Miss Pops claims to have seen the Bad Badger, and yet the Bad Badger had both of his hands full. These two pieces of information contradict each other, so one must be wrong than the Bad Badger. They are both correct. Impossible. That just leaves us with an irresolvable contradiction. Miss Pops' entire statement rests on the fact that she saw his sunglasses and beard. But what if that Bad Badger wasn't wearing pants on his lower half? This proves that there was a way for the Bad Badger to freely use both of his hands. Okay, that problem was kind of misleading. The costumes have two parts of them, a head and the body. Oh! He wasn't wearing the body, of course. Wow, that didn't click with me. Oh, I get it now. The head Miss Pops saw was probably really the head of the Bad Badger. However, it is not possible that the body was that of an... However, is it not possible that the body of that was an entirely different badger? A different badger? Yeah, so to put it more bluntly, I believe it was the lower half of this badger. The body of the Bad Badger Miss Pops really saw. Probably... Proto Badger? What? The heck is it? It's the Proto Badger. Yes, and it's a simple matter of process of elimination. Miss Pops was wearing the blue Badger's costume, so we can eliminate that one. And the pink Badger is of the wrong color, which would have been incredibly obvious. All that is left is the Proto Badger costume. Miss Pops, who was the one who wore the Proto Badger costume? That would be Lance. Are you saying what I think you are? That Lance Amano donned the blue Bad Badger's head and pretended to be Mr. Deacon, on top of which he plotted to shoot Mr. Pops while wearing that hideous thing. The stage that was set up in the stadium was nothing more than that, a setup. And its purpose was to lead Miss Pops into believing she had committed murder. Standing there in front of Miss Pops and pretending to be the victim, it was all done so that she would pull the trigger. I have no idea what you're talking about. Why exactly would I have had to do all that, huh? There's but one reason, Lance Amano. You are the real culprit behind the murder of Mr. Oliver Deacon. What? No! That's slander. Take it back. You take it back right now. Just out of curiosity, Lance, which is your dominant hand? I'm left-handed, but what does that have to do with anything? It depends. According to Miss Pops, her attacker held the gun in his left hand. Ha! Who is what-handed doesn't prove a thing. And besides, now you're just being absurd. It's not like the Proto Badger is bulletproof. One misfire and he would have found himself dead, right? Of course, logically, if he had been shot, he probably wouldn't be here with us. But I believe he had thought of that as well and prepared accordingly. And this should be all the evidence that you need. This is how Lance made sure that he wouldn't be hit by a bullet, because he took the gun off and used a fake, obviously. We found one half of a Badger costume in the hideout, a broken one. It was not the same one that the victim was wearing, plus he was missing something. And that something is the model gun that the Bad Badger carries, which can fire blanks. What? Miss Pops, where's the gun you use now? I threw it away into the sea. That makes it a bit tough to verify what it was, although I believe that we can safely assume that it was the model gun in question. I've heard enough. All you've been spouting so far is pure conjecture. I admit that as long as the model gun is lost to us, I can't prove I'm right. However, I can say that the probability that I am right is very high. Okay, let's pretend that you're right and the murder at the stadium was a fabrication. In that case, where do you think the murder really took place, Mr. Prosecutor? I don't know yet. Ha, I knew you were full of it. However, I do believe that the murder took place during an earlier time frame. Please, wait a second. It's simply not possible, because I saw Mr. Deacon after he was restrained by Lance. She saw the victim in the state of being restrained. I came back to the hideout long after the other two. By that time, Lance had already subdued and restrained Mr. Deacon. He had tied Mr. Deacon securely to the beam in the next room over. After that, the two of us put on our costumes and made our escape. So Mr. Deacon must have escaped after the two of you left, right? Thought they'd attract too much attention if we left together, so I left first. Planned to meet up again at the stage in the stadium. But then, as I was walking through the park, I got a call from Lance on my cell phone. Oliver managed to escape, but it looks like he was waiting until I was alone. He also stole the gun from me at that time. And then the murder happened. Mr. Deacon must have overheard their plan to meet up at the stage. Well, Mr. Prosecutor, Mr. Pop saw the victim with her own eyes, which means that the victim was still alive at that time, wouldn't you agree? Why does that sound wrong to me? There must be something amiss about this account. Let's see what happens when I examine it in more detail. I can't say... I can't lie and say there's not a little part of me that misses the eye feature from Apollo Justice. That was probably my favorite part of that game. So I could just see where they're lying and be like, got you! You know? I wish... I miss it. It was such a good feature and we barely used it. But I get it. You don't want to use it too much because then it would be annoying. But when you used it, it was so good. You are sure that it was Mr. Deacon you saw? Yes, I'm certain of what I saw. Did you go into the other room to check? Lance said that it was best if I didn't get too close to him. Lance, he's such a kind soul. But are you telling me that you did not confirm that it was Mr. Deacon for yourself? I checked through the slit in the door that separates the two rooms. He had a Bad Badger's head on, so I'm absolutely sure. That just had to be Mr. Deacon. Saw a Bad Badger head. No. You are incorrect, my friend. Miss Pops, the person you saw was not Mr. Deacon at all. Huh? The person you actually saw was this person. Whoa. Oh. It was me! Haha. That's funny, actually. It was me. Huh? The person I saw was you, Mr. Edgeworth? I always thought it was a bit odd. Why would the kidnappers abduct me even after I'd hand over the ransom? It's not as though I saw the face of the kidnappers. If I were them, I would have just taken the $1 million and ran. But in the end, there was a point to it all. It was to make me look like Mr. Deacon. And if that was the reason for which I was abducted, then I believe we can assume that the victim was already dead at that time. Well, Lance, am I right? You showed Miss Pops a person, namely me, with a badger's head on, and then made your costume escape together, or so you pretended. Huh? What do you mean he pretended? Exactly that. I believe Lance watched you escape, and then doubled back to the hideout. Probably to come and remove the Bad Badger head from my unconscious self. And to create his fake prison with a prop sword. He then escaped via the passageway. Hold your tongue, boy. Don't get caught up in that tidal wave of words coming out of Mr. Prosecutor's mouth. Tidal wave? We've heard a lot come out of you, but I've yet to see a shred of evidence. The victim's betrayal and his subsequent detainment, all of that could have happened while you were out cold. That's right. You were out for quite a while, Mr. Prosecutor. Even if that were the case, Miss Pops would still have seen me tied to that beam. I was scared of Mr. Deacon, so I didn't go into the next room. So I really have no idea if you were in there or not, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, it would seem that you can't prove a thing. Ugh. Who said that? Oh, please, wait. Mr. Romano. Oh, Miles, my boy. Looks like you're really giving it your all. And Lance, it's not good to cause trouble for others. Dad? Let's see. You are the one in charge of the investigation, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sorry that my son has been nothing but trouble. This probably won't make up for anything, but I have some evidence for you.
Oh, do you now?
Is that what I think it is?
It's the bad badger costume the victim was wearing, and a gun.
I couldn't wait around for the police, so I went and found these myself. It appears that they were disposed of in the sea. Is there no one in this country who actually obeys the law? There. Now, Agent Lang, please calm down.
There goes that scrap of paper.
This appears to be a letter from the chief of police. Please allow Mr. Amano complete freedom to do as he sees fit, it says.
What? The chief of police? What the? Just who does he think he is?
The person who wields the highest authority in this area.
It's me, Gant. I'm back. No. Oh, there now. There is no need to be so upset.
I'm not a cop from this land, so I'm not bound by the laws of your country.
Now. This wasn't meant to strong-arm you into anything. It's just a request. I'm only asking that you please respect the laws of the land.
Can't really say no to that. However, returning to the topic at hand, it doesn't matter who found the evidence, its value remains unchanged. Alright, let's take a closer look at this evidence.
I've already got the results back. I had a special forensic lab that I'm on good terms with conduct the tests. They verified the blood of this costume belonged to Oliver. As for the gun, the only fingerprints I could find were yours, Lauren. What? You disappoint me, Miles. I can't believe that you would cause my son to stress and heartache. Thank goodness I was able to find the final pieces of evidence. With this, you'll have no reason left to push my poor boy around. That's it. These are the case-making pieces of evidence. Ha! I'll be the judge of that. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. This bullet hole.
It's kind of burnt around the edges.
Wait, those burn marks were left by the gunpowder. This is the most important fact.
Why is that?
Because it's proof that the victim was shot at point-blank range. Okay. Could this gun be the actual murder weapon? What's this? It looks like there's something inside the costume head.
Hey, they sparkle. I bet they're really valuable.
Sorry, but they're just pieces of a mirror. What? Oh my god, that's the murder place. Oh. Okay. Ah. Why are they in here? Well, are those not the most definitive piece of evidence you've ever seen? Thank you, Dad. This should be enough to convince even Mr. Edgeworth over there. Make no mistake, there are fingerprints on that murderous gun, and they prove that it was Lolly who killed Oliver. But Oliver was also after Lolly's life. So, Mr. Edgeworth, even if you must see that Lolly was only acting in self-defense. The fingerprint on the weapon, huh?
Oh no, this isn't helpful at all.
Look, Mr. Edgeworth, all I want to do is save Lolly, but in the end, all I can do is watch on as she takes the punishment for her crimes. That may be all you can do, however, I still have a case to solve and a job to do. The job of unraveling your insidious lie. You wound me. Why won't you believe me, even in the face of all this evidence? It's not fake, it's just not real. Is there no end part 2 to this? Is it just end? Because, like, we're solving the case. Oh, oops. I didn't read that because I didn't think it would be important, but I guess it is. Frankly, I don't believe that Miss Pops' print should be on that gun to begin with. The reason why is Miss Pops' print is she was in the costume. Like, why would that make any sense?
Take that!
It's simply not possible for Miss Pops to have left any prints on the murder weapon, because while she was at the stadium, Miss Pops was wearing a costume. Huh? there's been no mistake. We found fingerprints. Well, Miss Pops, do you remember touching the gun at all, at any time? Yes, as a matter of fact, I did hold it for a bit back in the hideout. I handed it off to Mr. Deacon when he and Lance left for the haunted house. To retrieve the ransom money, I suppose. And there you have it. That is when Miss Pops' prints found their way onto the gun. Urgh. Do you understand now, Mr. Romano? The fingerprints do nothing to prove that Miss Pops is the murderer. But you still don't have anything to prove that she isn't the killer, right? You seem very adamant about insisting that your girlfriend is a cold-blooded killer. Oh, Lance. What? No way. I'm incredibly worried about her. That doesn't change the fact that you don't have any evidence, right? That's where you're wrong. I have the evidence. What? The story that Miss Pops killed the victim at the stage in the stadium. The whole affair is simply not true, because that was not the real crime scene, but a setup. This proves that the real murder was not committed at the stadium at all. The suit. Let's take another good look at the costume the victim was wearing. Then I believe you'll see why I insist he was not shot at the stadium. This is the part of the costume that proves it. The thing, but I'm gonna save just in case it's like, no, you're wrong. Come on. The burn around this bullet hole was made when the victim was shot at point-blank range. So then you mean the murder Miss Oldbeck saw at the stadium was really... Yes, she saw two people, but they were separated by a distance. The victim was indeed shot from below the stage. There shouldn't be a gunpowder burn. Look at you, Mr. Smarty Pants Prosecutor. Since you seem to know all the answers, why not tell us where the real crime scene is then? It's not that hard. Last time you have to look like Mr. Beacon back at the hideout. If that's the case, then the murder must have happened prior to that. The location where Lance and the victim were just before I was imprisoned was... Come on, you can do it. I've got it! I know the real scene of the murder! The real location in which Mr. Deacon is killed is here. It's not that hard, but I'm gonna save anyways, just in case it's like, no, you're wrong! I think it's not unreasonable to assume the murder took place in the haunted house. The haunted house? Yes, and I have proof that it is highly likely the victim was killed there. What proves that the real was the haunted house? Why, it's the glass, of course, you fools. These were inside the costume the victim was wearing. They're fragments of a mirror. A mirror? What does that have to do with anything? Indeed. You don't exactly expect to find pieces of a mirror inside a costume. Yeah, it's actually pretty dangerous. However, there is one place I can think of where there is a plethora of mirror fragments. And that is the haunted house. Lance Amano, I propose that you killed Mr. Deacon with a revolver in the haunted house, and after that you stole the blue Badgermobile to move his body to the Wild Wild West area. The timing of when the blue Badgermobile was stolen confirms this is a fact. Miles, my boy, say no more. I'm sorry, Mr. Amano, but I cannot do that. Be quiet. Yes, please do something. Stop that boy from speaking any more nonsense. Ernest Amano, correct? I meant you. Now be quiet, Gramps. How dare you? I don't need words. The only thing I require is evidence. Decisive evidence. And to call these mirror bits decisive is a bit too presumptuous, Mr. Prosecutor. What? Sheena, wasn't there a mirror in the kidnapper's hideout? Yes, there was a mirror there. A mirror that's for the haunted house. You see? Isn't it possible the fragments got into the costume there? But Agent Lang, there were no fragments on the floor, so the probability is very low. Probability? Lang Z says, on Truth's Path, the word probability does not exist. The only thing that does is definitive proof. The question, Mr. Prosecutor, is do you have the definitive proof you need? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, do you? Do I have solid evidence that proves the murder took place at the haunted house? The answer is no. See? Since you don't have any, shut up. I don't have the evidence yet, but I'm certain that the murder occurred at around the time I turned the ransom over. At that time, the only people at the haunted house, besides myself, were Lance and Mr. Deacon. If I can prove that the murder took place at the haunted house, then I can prove Lance's guilt in connection to the murder. What now, Mr. Edgeworth? Agent Lang, I have a special request. Yeah? I'd like to prove to you that the scene of the crime was indeed the haunted house. Why in the world are you asking the werewolf for permission? Because I don't really have a choice if I want to find the truth. Alright, permission granted, but you're not to touch a single thing, got it? That won't be a problem. All that's important to me is that truth be brought to light. It doesn't matter by who or how it's done, as long as it is. Sheena. I'm here. Put in the paperwork for the authorization immediately.
Understood. I'll go get the Gatewater Group's approval.
Who was that?
Now. Let's hold on for a second. There is no need to obtain approval. Mr. Amano, Agent Lang, if you will please take a look at this.
What is this? Sheena!
It's the deed to the haunted house.
The deed?
Read it out loud.
Gatewater Landing hereby bequeaths the property known as the haunted house to Mr. Amano for the lump sum of $1 million paid in full cash.
What?
Oh, as you can see, I'm not a legal owner of the haunted house.
Are you kidding? When did you?
I ran into the owner of the park earlier, and we made the deal almost immediately. How quickly things move when you can prepare $1 million in the blink of an eye.
That's $1 million you paid. Don't tell me. It was...
Oh, that's right. That disgusting suitcase belongs to you, doesn't it? I don't have any more use for it, so you may have it back now.
You used the ransom money?
My Lance is a good boy. He even apologized for the kidnapping a bit earlier. So I do believe that I will forgive him. After all, he did return the ransom money. That's the way things are, so if you would please discuss things with me from now on.
Discuss? What is there to discuss?
Well, I have permission to enter the haunted house, of course. While we were busy listening to Lance's story, Mr. Amano was out there preempting us. Permission to search the haunted house is denied. End of discussion. Agent Lang, I want you to arrest that girl. And Miles, sure on home now, my boy, before I really lose my temper. Ugh, Mr. Amano definitely has the deck stacked in his favor here. What should I do? If I leave it like this, the truth will be lost forever. And that's the to be continued point. Wow. I'm at a bit of a loss here. Because I know for a fact that the next thing will not be long. Like, there's just not enough unless they're really going to stretch it out. So I guess we'll do what we did last time and just start chapter 4 next time. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm going to end this episode here for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you had enjoyed, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Stick around to see more of this awesome game. We're going to be playing it till the end because I love this series. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all later. Peace out!